Hello everyone, I am Rajiv Saxena, Associate Professor, Smriti College of Pharmaceutical Education, Indore. So in today's video lecture, we'll discuss about the classification and mode of action of various classes of disinfectant. Like in the last class, we have discussed about the disinfection process, and in that we have discussed that the disinfection is actually the process of removal of the pathogenic microorganism from any inanimate object. And one more term which is closely associated with the disinfectant is the antiseptic, that also deals with the removal of the pathogenic microorganism, but especially from the animate objects or the living objects. In the last video, we have also discussed about various ideal properties of a disinfectant and what are the different factors that affects the mechanism of action of disinfectant. That includes the concentration, temperature, pH, time, wetting properties, etc. So in today's lecture, we'll discuss about the different classes of the disinfectant and how this disinfectant act in the laboratory or in the pharmaceutical industry or in any hospital where we are applying this disinfectant. So coming to the classification of the disinfectant, now the disinfectant can be classified into three categories. Number one is a natural disinfectant. Natural disinfectant generally includes your sunlight, because we know that in the sunlight the ultraviolet radiations are available, and this ultraviolet radiation is having the property to kill the pathogenic microorganism. Now the next class of the disinfectant generally includes various physical method of disinfection, that includes the dry heat, moist heat, radiation application, that we have already covered in the section of different process of sterilization. But the third class, which is the most important class of the disinfectant, is actually the chemical class of disinfectants. So here we'll discuss about various chemicals that act as a disinfectant. So, coming to the first chemical disinfectant, which is called as the phenol and the phenolics. Now, phenol is considered to be a very active disinfectant, and if we compare the phenol with any other disinfectant, then definitely we'll find that the effectiveness of the phenol is very high. And if we talk about the concentration of the phenol, which is generally used in the laboratory or for the disinfection purpose, is around 1%. But there is one disadvantage which is associated with the use of the phenol, is that the phenol is highly irritating and it is also having disagreeable odor. So because of that irritation causing nature of the phenol on the skin, sometimes what we have to do, we have to go for the chemical modification of the phenol in order to generate compounds which are called as phenolics. So phenolics are actually the chemical modified of the phenol, and why we are doing the modification? Because we know that the effectiveness of the phenol is very high. But if we talk about the nature of the phenol, then definitely phenol is quite irritating to our skin, and also it is having some objectionable odor. So to reduce that irritation, we can go for the chemical modification of the phenol in order to generate the products which are called as phenolics. So different classes of the phenolics are available in the market, like for example cresol, that is available in a very famous preparation which is called as Lysol. Lysol is what? It is actually the cresol with soap solution. So we have added the cresol and that we have made a unified solution with the soap, and because of the presence of the soap, the wetting property of the Lysol can be increased. Now different other phenolics are also available, like for example xylenol, which is a dimethyl phenol. Chlorxylenol is available in a very famous preparation which is called as a Dettol. Everybody must have heard about the name of the Dettol. So that Dettol actually consists of chloroxylenol. So these are the different categories of the phenol and phenolics which are widely used for the disinfection purpose. Now coming to the basic mechanism of action of this phenol and phenolics. So the basic mechanism of action is the injury to the cell membrane and the inactivation of enzyme and protein denaturation, because we know that if you are talking about any microorganism, so that microorganism consists of different categories of the enzymes and different categories of the protein, and it is also having the presence of the cell membrane. So this phenol and phenolics actually work on the cell membrane and causes the damage to the cell cell membrane, but apart from the injury to the cell membrane, they are also responsible for the inactivation of various enzymes and also the denaturation of various protein moieties which are available inside the microorganism. Now coming to the next class of the disinfectant, which is called as a halogens. So if you are talking about it as a disinfection purpose, generally the iodine and chlorine is used. We must have heard about various preparations that includes the iodine, like tincture iodine, iodophore. So actually iodine here is having a very good property to kill the microorganism, and as discussed in the initial part of the video, that there are two terms, one is a disinfectant and one is an antiseptic. So there are some chemicals that act as a disinfectant also, and that also act as a antiseptic. So iodine is one such class that it is having the activity towards the inanimate object, and along with that it can also be applied to the skin. Now coming to the basic mechanism of action of iodine. So iodine basically combines with the tyrosine residue of one of the amino acid that is available with the microorganism and forms diiodotyrosine, and thus making the tyrosine inactivated. So again, in short, what we can say that the tyrosine, it is an amino acid, and that amino acid is actually a part of different enzymes and proteins which are essential for the microorganism. So here iodine actually combines with that tyrosine residue and causing the denaturation, inactivation of the tyrosine molecule, and thus making the cell inactivated, or thus it will kill the cell. Now the next class of the halogen is chlorine. Chlorine is also widely used, definitely for the disinfection of water, disinfection of some utensils, disinfection of various larger equipments which are available in the pharmaceutical industries. Definitely we can go for the use of the chlorine. Now the basic mechanism by which the chlorine acts is the formation of the hypochlorous acid. The chlorine reacts with the water molecule which is available with the microorganism, and that results in the formation of the hypochlorous acid. This hypochlorous acid is having a very strong oxidizing property, and because of that oxidization, various biomolecules which are essential for the growth or for the survival of the microorganism get inactivated, and thus this makes the microorganism killed because of the application of the chlorine. Now coming to the next class of the disinfectant, that is alcohol. Now because of the pandemic, everybody is using a sanitizer. So sanitizer generally consists of an alcohol, okay? So that basically consists of your ethanol or isopropanol in the concentration between 60 to 95%, but it is observed that the 70% is the most effective concentration of various alcohol that causes the property against your bacteria, against your fungus, and against your viruses. But it is also said that if we are talking about the alcohols, then alcohols should not be used if we are having some wound or injury, because what will happen because of the application of the alcohol over the wound or over the injury, it causes the denaturation of the proteins which are available on the skin, and because of denaturation a very hard layer is formed on the skin, and beneath that layer various microorganisms continue to grow. So we can say that because of the application of the alcohol on the wound, it may be possible that the infection under the beneath layers of the skin may spread. So we should not use the alcohol if you are having any cut, injury or any wound. Now coming to the next class of the disinfectant, which is called as quartz. Quartz is actually a quaternary ammonium compound. Now the most common example of this quaternary ammonium compound is benzalkonium chloride. Now this benzalkonium chloride is having very good effectiveness against various gram-positive bacteria and many of the gram-negative bacteria. Now if we are talking about the mode of action of this benzalkonium chloride, then it causes the change in the cell permeability and causes the loss of various essential ions, because we know that every cell is surrounded by a cell membrane, and because of the application of the benzalkonium chloride, the cell permeability of any microorganism will be changed, and various essential ions which are available, which are required inside the microorganism may leak off, and because of that leakage the microorganism could not survive. Now benzalkonium chloride is available in various preparations including mouthwashes, various ophthalmic preparation, and for example if you are purchasing some mouthwashes and if you are shaking that mouthwash and it is generating some foam or froth, then definitely we can say that in our preparation benzalkonium chloride is available. Now coming to the next disinfectant, which is called as a heavy metals. So different heavy metals like silver, mercury and copper, they are widely used for the purpose of disinfectant. Now the basic mechanism by which this heavy metal work is generally the denaturation of the proteins. Now the common example includes your silver nitrate. Generally 1% of solution of the silver nitrate is given to the newborn to protect the newborn from the infection of gonorrhea, ophthalmia, neonatum. But along with that silver nitrate, we can also go for the use of mercury chloride. But especially if we are talking about the pharmaceutical industry, the use of mercury chloride is very rare, because it is having the property to corrode the instrument. It is having some negative qualities, because of which we cannot go for the use of mercury chloride in various pharmaceutical preparations. Now coming to the next disinfectant, that is your organic acids and its derivatives. Various organic acids are also used for the purpose of disinfection. Now the most common examples generally includes your sorbic acid. Now the sorbic acid generally controls the molds in the acidic food. For example, if we are talking about the cheese. Then benzoic acid is again a very common example. Benzoic acid is having very effectiveness at the lower pH also. So if you are talking about various soft drinks, then these soft drinks generally consist of this benzoic acid. And apart from that, various pharmaceutical preparation also consist of this benzoic acid. Now the next organic acid is parabens, and the most common examples are methylparaben and propylparaben. So the application of this methylparaben and propylparaben is mostly in the various cosmetic preparations, for example shampoos and various liquid, especially liquid cosmetic preparations. Now again, if we are talking about the mode of action of this organic acid, then definitely it inhibits the enzyme activity. So here we can say that if we are talking about most of the disinfectant, so the site or the place where this disinfectant act is generally the on the enzymes or in various proteins which are involved in the regulation of various biochemical activity, in the formation of various structural component of the microorganism. Now coming to the last category, which is a miscellaneous category, that generally includes your formaldehyde, ethylene oxide, beta-propionolactone. These are different chemical gases which are used for the purpose of the disinfection. Now this part we have already discussed in the process of sterilization, where we have talked about various chemical method of sterilization. But again we can summarize here, like for example, if we have to go for the disinfection of an hospital or any pharmaceutical unit where the number of microorganisms is more in the surrounding area, so definitely in those areas we can go for the application of different chemical gases like your formaldehyde, your ethylene oxide, beta-propionolactone, and because of these gases, because of the application of these gases, the microorganisms which are available in that atmosphere or in the surrounding will be destroyed. But apart from that, various other chemical agents like glutaraldehyde, then potassium permanganate, soaps and detergents, they are also rarely used for the purpose of disinfectant. So this is all about the different categories of the disinfectant which are available in the market, and again depending upon the application, depending upon your preparation, we can choose one of the disinfectants. So again summarizing it, different classification and mode of disinfectant. So they are classified either as a natural, physical or the chemical disinfectant. Chemical disinfectant generally includes your phenol and phenols, it includes your halogens, it includes your alcohols, it includes your quaternary ammonium compound, it includes various heavy metals, it includes their organic acid and its derivatives, and some miscellaneous class of chemical disinfectant including your formaldehyde, ethylene oxide, beta-propionolactone, glutaraldehyde, potassium permanganate, soaps and detergents are also available. Thank you so much.